Shall we begin?
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Edit. It's Aggie and
Danny!
and right now we're going to be doing 9 minutes with our girl Danny here, the Survivor winner, beauty queen,
Oh,
international
former.
model, host.
Oh, you're funny. It's
Ahead.
weird being on the other end of this, Aggie.
I know. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. You
Yes, it
know the
is.
drill.
Mhm.
9 minutes, as many questions.
Wait, are you setting the timer or I? Because I'm usually a timekeeper. Am I not
Yes.
doing anything this time?
Nope, you just sit back, relax,
All
and I'm
right.
just going to interview you. I got the timer. We're all set to go.
I love it. I'm
All
nervous.
right. Oh no, it's going to be so fun.
I
Let
have
me
no
get my
idea, people, what she has prepared, so
But I am very excited for these questions, and I know you guys are gonna love them too, because Danny has done so much,
Ah,
and it's gonna be so exciting to dive into all of this. So,
uh-oh.
all right, timer starting.
All
Okay,
right.
so tell everybody where you're from.
I am from a small town called Tonganoxie, Kansas, but I currently live in Shawnee, Kansas. I moved into the city when I got older.
Okay, so you know how I gave you the rundown: model, international model, beauty queen, everything. So tell everyone the best moment in your modeling career, because I know you have so many.
Oh my gosh, I really have been blessed. I had an incredible modeling career. I have to say the greatest moment, and there've been a lot of them, but I was modeling for Krizia, doing a runway show, and I walked down to the end of the runway, and Lady Diana was there, and
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
I mean, I think I just froze at the end of the runway, like I couldn't believe it. So, that was probably the coolest moment ever.
I bet that was like the first like starstruck moment.
Oh,
I would have just been floored.
when people ask, like, "Who's the biggest star you've ever met?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't really meet her, right?" But to be in the same room as someone, I mean, she's royalty, right? So you
Yeah.
couldn't there was nobody cooler than that, and I've had a lot of really neat experiences, met a lot of famous people. I used to room, as you know, with Heidi Klum, and when she first started modeling. So, but that's probably the biggest moment for me, for sure.
My gosh, that's amazing. We'll have to talk about that later. So this is a two-part question. So
Okay.
being an international model, I'm sure you've been so many places and met so many interesting people. So number one, what's been your favorite place you've traveled so far for a photo shoot? And then tell me a couple people you've worked with, whether it's a model or a photographer that you enjoyed working with.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. I think you already know this, but I lived in Italy, did a lot of work there, and Italy is my favorite place, hands down. Just love Italy. But my favorite is probably Gerba. That was kinda cool.
Yeah.
I got to do a photo shoot there, and that was an experience like none other. Oh, but I also got to shoot in South Africa, in Cape Town, and my mom came with me
Oh,
on
fun.
that trip, and we even rented a car, and I don't know how we got out alive driving around in this little bitty green little rental car that we had looking the wrong way when we were pulling out. I mean, it was an experience I'll never forget. So that was a lot of fun. But the coolest person okay, I didn't really work okay, let me back up. Working with was probably Cameron Diaz because she was filming the movie Mask when we were, doing this photo shoot together. She never mentioned it, okay? And it was one of my first jobs that I had been booked on for a model, and I didn't know how to move, I didn't know how to do anything, and I could tell the photographer is getting very frustrated, and during lunch break, Cameron took her lunch break to help me and teach me, how to move and how to just work the industry. Like, she was so cool, helped me so much, and never once had mentioned that, she was in the process of filming this major movie. And a couple weeks later, I see on Entertainment Tonight, overnight success. And they started talking about Cameron Diaz being in this movie, The Mask, and my mom and I were just like, "Oh, wow." And so that was pretty cool because she went on to be a major star, and she was just the coolest. So she's definitely the coolest person I've worked with, but I was shooting in France, and, during break one time, I was walking up and down the beach and I came across this really nice lady and she was talking about how she was from the States and she was on vacation with her husband. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then she's like, "Oh, here's my husband." He starts walking toward us. This is Denzel Washington. I was like, "Oh my gosh, her husband." She's like, "This is my husband." And I was like, "That's Denzel Washington." I was like, "Oh, they were so normal, so down to earth." So that was pretty cool. That was probably the greatest experience on a job with a personal, connection with someone was definitely the two of them. So, had
Oh
some
my
crazy
gosh.
experiences, Aggie.
Crazy but amazing. My mouth is
Yeah.
like, "Oh, oh, oh."
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I should write a book.
Yeah, you should. So, did modeling lead you into the pageant world?
Actually, pageants led me into the modeling world. I started off at 12, entered this, Miss America preteen pageant that I had no business being in, but I was like, "Oh, this looks like fun." I was a tomboy, I was raised with a bunch of brothers. And, I was like, "Oh," it was the first girly thing I wanted to do, so my mom jumped right on it, and I was like the 4th runner up, but the pageant bug just bit me, and I absolutely was hooked at that point, and the next pageant that I did was, Miss Kansas Teen USA, which I won, and when I went to nationals, that's really when it started to, the modeling world just kinda opened up for me, and there were a lot of other kind of, doors and avenues that had opened up about that same time, but that was really, like, the big one for me.
Okay. And do you still watch pageant shows? And if you do, which one's your favorite one to watch?
I I'm still connected to the pageant world a little bit. I follow Miss USA and Miss Universe, and I'm just not as invested as I used to be because after I won Survivor and really got into the reality world, like, that's the world I'm really involved in and follow, but I still stay a little connected to the pageants, but that's definitely the system that I follow, and I like to watch how our local girls do. One young lady who was Miss Kansas Teen when I was Miss Kansas, her daughter just won Miss Teen USA, so that was a lot of fun, and so I like staying connected in that aspect so I can see how my fellow pageant girls, their daughters are now doing.
That leads me into my next question because I was going to ask, are you still involved in the pageant world, whether, watching, but coaching or
Yes.
mentoring?
Yep, I still coach.
Oh,
So when girls are interested in doing, Miss Kansas, Miss Kansas Teen, and they reach out to me, we work on interview training, we work on walking, I help them with wardrobe, and I only work with just a couple because I don't want to get, too many to where you're just not able to give them the one-on-one attention that they deserve. And last year, I had a couple of teen contestants that I worked with that did really well, and they were so much fun. So I do have a lot of fun working on this side of it now. It's kind of funny how quickly that whole, life came and went.
yeah.
Now I'm on the other side of it. But it's fun. It's fun to watch the girls I work with compete.
And then what would you say your favorite pageant moment is, whether it's you're watching, participating,
Oh
or coaching?
gosh. Well, my favorite pageant moment was probably watching Miss Kansas win Miss USA in 1992. That was a lot of fun. Um, so because Kansas had never really, well, we hadn't won, and we weren't really known as a pageant state. That was usually like the South. And Texas was the state that would just kept winning Miss USA. So it was fun to see Miss Kansas win Miss USA. And then I just had a lot of fun competing. I did well at Miss Teen USA. I was runner up at Miss Teen USA and runner up at Miss USA. And then my year, Aggie, at Miss USA, I won swimsuit, won interview, and was second in evening gown, barely behind Miss Tennessee, who was the second runner up at Miss USA that year. And so it was fun to you know, see afterwards that I had won so many categories, but that I ended up first runner up, which was interesting because they did change the scoring system the next year after that because people were watching like, how does somebody win everything and then not win the title? So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We're almost running out of time, and this sucks, but
Already?
we're gonna Okay, we'll do 2 more. Okay, so being a beauty queen, you don't see many, pageant darlings wanting to rough it in the jungle. So what enticed you to apply for Survivor?
Okay, my mom is the one who was the big Survivor fan, and if I've learned anything in life, Aggie, it's listen to Jesus and mama because they're always right. And so my mom said, "You need to audition, you need to try out for Survivor," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever, I'll never get picked." And I sent in a tape and got called right to LA, and then, of course, the rest is history, went on to win Survivor, and it was all because of my mom, and listened to her, and look, I went on to win $1,000,000. And I loved Survivor. As you know, Aggie, I'm definitely more of a Survivor girl than I am a pageant girl. I was raised with all brothers. I love sports. I'm super tough, and I'm not what I look like. I'm a whole lot tougher than I look, and you saw that on Survivor, and it was tons of fun.
Yeah, and where do you get that grit from?
Oh, I 100% get that grit from my mother. I watched her fight through so many situations. She's overcome so much that literally we could have a whole other podcast on, seriously, because I think a lot of people look at me and they think, pageant winner, model, married to a former, professional athlete, just this all American white picket fence kind of girl. And that is not at all who I am. And
Mm-mm.
there are so many things that happened when I was younger that I've had to go through with my mom, see her fight through, that instilled a level of toughness that is just hard to match. And I just don't think people see that when they meet me or when they just look at you. And I am 100% have the grit that I have because of my mom for sure.
Mhm. Love Vix. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm tough.
Okay.
Watch out.
Yeah. Small but mighty.
That's right. Well, tall and skinny, but mighty.
Yeah. I
So
was talking about Vicky.
Oh, Vicky, yes. Oh gosh, yeah, she's like 5 foot and oh yeah, she's so nice, but she'll whoop your butt as soon as she needs to, trust me.
Okay, 2 questions.
Okay.
1, your why for 99 to beat. Why did you decide to apply?
I decided because, I'm 50 years old, I'm a mom, and I feel like moms sometimes we lose our identity because we're taking care of everyone. We're taking care of our family, putting everybody first. And I have definitely dedicated my life to my family and I wouldn't change anything, but it was time for me to step out and do something for myself, and I wanted to encourage other women. You know what? You can dedicate your life to your family as we should, but don't forget yourself. It's important to make sure keep your dreams alive, and when opportunities present themselves, take it. And your family will love that. And mine definitely was supportive of me going over to London to film 99. That's why I did it, and I missed a few baseball games, but you know what? It's all right because I had a wonderful experience for myself as we should as mothers.
Mhm. I love that. And our last question, is there any beyond the edit moment you would like to mention, about your experience on 99 to Beat that they didn't get to highlight?
Well, if people will watch our podcast Beyond the Edit, they'll hear the in-game Beyond the Edit moments, right? Because there's so many of those that they just have to cut out because of time, of course. But when we weren't filming and we had some downtime, which wasn't much, but when we did, we had a group that we called the All the Way to the End Alliance. That was just a group that we met that, of course, Aggie, you were a part of, and Julian, David, Tori, Tommy, Luigi. We were all so close and had so much fun. It wasn't highlighted on the show like some other groups that were super close. Everybody really got along on the show, which was great, but you just had your group, right, that you were a little that you were closer to. And we had so much fun. And on one of our day offs, we bought all sorts of things that we could gather that might possibly be challenges that we'd be competing in during the game. And we worked and worked and worked to try to prepare ourselves to be ready for the game. And one of my favorite moments was we actually worked on that lunchbox challenge. We felt like we all had a great strategy. And then, like, literally the next day was the lunchbox challenge, and we were all terrible. So I think next time, maybe just go to dinner, have a great time, and not worry about anything. And you probably do better in challenges that are on 99 to beat.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Danny, this was amazing. This concludes our interview, unfortunately, and I'm so sad about it because I have so many more questions, but that means we may have a part 2 coming up soon.
Yes.
All right,
Thanks for
and
having me,
Danny.
Aggie. It was so
Oh, of
nice.
course. Thanks for coming on the pod. Wait, before we go, tell people where they can find you.
So they can follow me on Facebook, Instagram at just Danny Boatwright. TikTok, it's Danny Boatwright. And then on X, it's Danny Boatwright KC. So,
All right. Well, thank you so much. Want to close it out for us?
oh, you want me to close it out?
Oh, I thought you were going to close it out because
Absolutely. I'll close it out.
oh,
So make sure. See, we're terrible when we do it ourselves, Aggie.
like who's doing
I
what?
was like, "What?" Well, make sure and like and subscribe to Beyond the Edit so you guys can be up to date on all the behind the scenes on 99 to Beat and to never miss out on Beyond the Edit moments.
That's right. Bye, everyone.